Alright, what's up everybody? It is time for our weekly roundup, pre-playoff edition. We got our boy Yanks in here. How you doing,
How's it
Yanks?
going? I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. Just kind of hanging out right now. Just got done with a busy day, so I'm glad to be home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. A long day. But
Definitely.
first off, want to welcome everyone. And if this is your first time watching, I know we've had some new people join recently. Roundup is basically our weekly show where we go over league happenings, news, stats, standings, and in this case, we're going to go over the playoff preview. But first off, without further ado, I want to talk about a recap of the last week. We had a crazy last week of the regular
Actually,
season.
I want to interrupt you real quick. Enlighten just subscribed with Twitch Prime, so shout out to him.
Shout out Enlighten. Thanks for
And
the
he was
sub,
the
man.
first one to actually get our donation
Alert
or like
system.
alerts going. So we
Yep.
actually really appreciate it because that got a good test for me.
So first off, we're going to talk about the recap of the last week. It was a crazy final week of the regular season. We had some big playoff matches. Well, first off, we had Origin over Galaxy. I don't know if you guys watched that. That was streamed. The two teams were tied coming down to the last two game days of the season. And head-to-head, whoever won this game was probably getting into the playoffs. Origin beat Galaxy 2-1. Game 3 went into overtime. It was intense. Zynga had a really good series. Then I also want to say AA is going for the undefeated season, and they got it. They beat H2O in 3 games. H2O was threatening them, but Will and Gat were able to pull it out like they've been doing the whole season. So, you have anything to say about the past week, Hazmat?
Not really. Like you said, the Origin series was a really good one. That was a close one, like a close thing to watch, and it was exciting to watch as well. Oh, hey, shout out to Crazy who just subscribed with Twitch Prime as well, and
Shout out crazy.
AA completing the undefeated season, which I'm proud of them for, but I also at the time was hoping for them to lose. But they did a great job. Mad props to them. It's something that's never been done before, and I don't think we'll see
Mm-hmm.
for a long time because we're getting a lot more I think competition coming into this next season. So
Definitely.
they might hold the only undefeated team for a while. The
Yeah,
record.
definitely. It's an unbelievable feat. Yeah, and like you said, I want to congratulate them on that. And now it's going to bring us into our final standings. I just want to give an overview of the final standings that we had this regular season, season 3. So first off, in the elite division, we had AA, like we were talking about, went 18-0 undefeated. They clinched the division. Second off, we had H2O 13-5. Great season for them. Poseidon, High Tide, and Freeze 13-5, second seed. And the leftovers clinched the final playoff spot in the elite division with an 11-7 record, just over Gravity at 10-8. Tough season for Gravity. Had some ups and downs and some really high points like the upset of LGBB. And they just lost some games to teams they really shouldn't have lost to. But they should have a good next season. G3 8-10, Horizon 5-13, and Control Game 4-14. Those teams will look to rebuild through the draft. And then on to our pro division, we have LGBB clinch their division back-to-back seasons. Last season they actually finished second. They're 17-1 now. They clinched division. Vitality 12-6, second seed. They will play Origin, who is 8-10, tied with Galaxy, but they did have the head-to-head record. They were beat Galaxy twice. ESG 6-12, Globa Gym 5-13, and the Fatal Strikers clinched the first overall pick in the draft with a 1-17 record. What do you have to say about that, Hazmat?
Well, first I want to point out that your mic it sounds like somebody's rubbing plastic all over it, and it would be much appreciated if that
Let
would
me
be
try this.
possibly fixed. Yeah.
Let me try this.
As far as standing goes, I want to take a look back at the elite standings real quick. Leftovers 2.0 coming out. I think really at crunch time they pulled it out well coming over Gravity. Gravity had a tough end of the season. They faced some really big teams. So that was rough and heartbreaking for them, but unfortunately the elite division is just brutal and although they're a great team, they just couldn't quite make the cut. So, it's kind of what I expected going into the playoffs, like with the players in there. You have Crazy Ninja on Leftovers 2.0 who's done amazing. Annex Poseidon on H2O who's also fantastic. And then Aerial Aces, Will and Gat, just absolutely insane. And then over in the Pro Division, LGBB 17-1, doing really well this season, coming off the win from last season. Vitality 12-6, again another really solid team, great team. And then Origin, who's 8-10, which is our only team in the playoffs with a losing record. But they still made the playoffs. I guess that's all that really matters at this point. So can't say much
Mm.
else about it. They pulled it out and they got in there. So we'll see where it goes from them. They got that series coming up with Vitality. So I guess yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
Definitely. So my mic sound better?
Not at all.
All right, here, let me just. All right, what about now?
Yes, that is actually much better.
All right, I'm just gonna take the earbuds out. Yeah, definitely, I agree with pretty much almost everything you said. So now we're gonna talk about the final stats for all of the players in the major league. We don't have a graphic for this, but we do have. We're just gonna go into the browser, into the spreadsheet. Our goals per game leader taking it. He didn't lead it most of the season. He was second, but he took it on the last week of the season. Was Andy from LGBB, the 1.51 goals per game average. Will was second with a 1.46 goals per game average, and Gatman 1.43. Two players from AA there. Assist leaders we have Will with 1.03. Shaky from LGBB 0.85, and Gatman 0.84. Saves leaders, we have Jay-Z Lago with 1.71. That's outstanding. Almost two saves per game. Inhumane Adidas with 1.58, and Whoop De Wop 2 with a 1.43 average. What do you have to say about that, Hazmat?
So I think since we didn't create the full bracket for it, or the full image, it doesn't give like the quite the clear picture that I wanted. I'm looking for it right now because I know we had an announcement recently about all the players who were coming in. So I'm trying to find it. Do you know where that was at? The announcement with the stats? I can't remember.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
All
Probably
right.
in.
Well, I wish I could find it because I think the graphic we have does not show it as well. The graphic we have shows the save per game leaders, but it doesn't show the true save leaders. So I wish we had something
Oh
better for that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
um,
Um,
but I think
I'm
everyone on there, makes sense. Andy the Roo did finish not only as top goals per game, but I think he also finished with the most goals in the season, barely edging out Will and Gatman over there. Will again taking assist leaders, showing why he's such a dominant player. I don't know, the stats they kind of speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Not much to to comment on them.
Yeah, definitely. I want to give a congratulations to Andy. I was just thinking about this the other day because I was talking to him, and when he joined this back at the beginning or end of season one, I think it was, he was like a 950 MMR, like he was like in flat, and now he has turned into what we call it the big three, Will, Gatman, and Andy. He's turned into one of those like big three players, and I just want to give a shout out to him for the improvement he's done over the seasons.
What
He's
about a
played.
shout out to his teammates who taught him how to rotate to make him such a
Shout
better
out to you,
player?
shout out to Pug, and shout out to Shaky too.
And Shamu, who taught him back in the old days. He's the real coach there. And I do want to point out that somebody reminded me, yeah, those stats weren't news. So for an actual number thing, for goals we had Andy the Roo at 56 was our goal leader. Will for assists at 38. Then in saves we had IS Freeze at 54 saves. Shots Andy the Roo at 144, and overall points we had Will at 92.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Will, like he's pretty much overall he's a great player. Like he's not just an offensive player. Like he's got the saves, he's got the defense, just an overall great player. But now we're going to transition into our talk about the playoff picture. I'm gonna pull up the bracket here. So this is what we have in Major League. In the Elite Division, we have the Leftovers 2.0 taking on H2O. Should be a great matchup. And the winner of that series will play the Aerial Aces undefeated season in the semifinal. Moving on to the Pro Division, we have Vitality against Origin. Origin squeaking in the last day there, and the winner of that will play LGBB in the Pro Division semifinal. Got some big matchups there. Let's do this. I know you play for LGBB, but just for the quarterfinal, what are your predictions here?
Um, so predictions for the Pro Division, I got to give it to Vitality. I think they are going to take out Origin. Like I said earlier, it's Origin was our only losing record team in the playoffs, and I don't think they have the talent to just beat Vitality. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a good series, but I got to give it to Vitality. And then as far as Elite Division goes, um, that's a tough one. I Leftovers 2.0 is a great team. H2O is a great team, but I think H2O is just when they're on the game, they're too
Mm-hmm.
good. They're up there, I think even sometimes above Aerial Aces when everybody's on
Yeah.
the ball doing exactly what they need to do. So Again, another close one. I think even closer than Vitality and Origin. But I'm gonna call the prediction H2O. I think.
Speaking of predictions, why don't we pull up our community predictions? We had you guys vote to the link we put in the announcement channel for predictions. So for the H2O Leftovers 2.0 series, you guys predicted H2O. I actually don't want the percentages up, but I believe it was around, what, 73%?
We have H2O coming over at 62.5%. Leftovers 2.0 sitting at 37.5%.
So H2O, big favorite in that one, which kind of surprises me. Like you said, this is going to probably be, in my eyes, a lot closer of a series than the Vitality Origin one. But I myself would have to say H2O. They have Poseidon. They have an unrelentless offensive attack with Freeze and Poseidon. I have to go with H2O. And then
I want to point out
moving,
real quick too, because I know Crazy Ninja who plays for Leftovers is watching right now and definitely hates everything we're saying. But keep in mind that last season, I mean, LGBB came out at the champs and they were counted out at literally every turn basically except the finals. So prove us wrong, like the teams were predicting wrong. Like come on and show up and make something crazy happen. We'd love to see some upsets. We'd love to see just pretty much anything, the best play possible in the playoffs. That's what the playoffs are. So our predictions really don't mean anything, and anybody could take it in the end. These are all great teams in there.
yeah, I definitely think there's usually at least one big upset. Don't know where it will be this playoff run. But on to Vitality Origin predictions. I believe it was predicted to be Vitality in a landslide. What were the exact percentages on that?
So we had Vitality at 80.56% and Origin at 19.44%. So definitely, I mean, if you thought H2O versus Leftovers 2.0 was not close at all, then yeah, this one is definitely just a landslide in favor of Vitality. Um,
I mean, yeah, that's kind of expected. The Origin, you get the losing record. They barely got into the playoffs on like the last day of the season. And then you have Vitality, who has skills, Jays. They got two pretty good players there. I think they'll
I think you
probably
said his
sweep
name
up.
wrong. It's definitely Jose.
Oh my gosh, we're not going to this again. I need to talk to him, see what the actual pronunciation of his name is. But
Realistically, it's Jazzy. I think he's told us many times, but it's Jose now.
oh my gosh, Vitality. I mean, they're just an overall better team, and yeah. So moving on to our Oh, actually, yeah, this is the moment you guys have been waiting for, and I think person involved might actually be asleep right now. But we want to present our season 3 Major League MVP award, and that goes to Will, back-to-back winner. Won it last season, and season 2. We had a vote for this within the board. Will was the winner. There was some divisiveness and discussion, but Will, that stat line is almost unreal. Like he has, I believe he's leading 1.43 in goal, 1.0 something 03 in assists, and in saves he's on the leaderboard. Just unbelievable stats. He's not. We wanted to get him here for an interview, but he's actually sleeping right now because they have the big game tomorrow, or possible big game semifinal tomorrow. But I just want to give a shout out to Will, back-to-back winner, your RLPC season 3 MVP.
Definitely a big congrats to him. He plays out of his mind and he deserves it. Like we said, second in goals. I think first in assists, on the board for saves. I know that, and first in points. You can't when you have a player that's just that dominant and leads the league in so many things, or is at least on the board for top 5 in everything. Yeah, I mean, how can you not? There are a lot of great players in the league and a lot of players who are just like that. On the board for pretty much everything, but he's too good. He's too good.
I did want to point out one thing about this graphic where it says like the shots. That should actually be points, and that should be 92 points. And
No,
then the
we
points
fixed it.
should be. Oh, we did? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Never mind. Ignore me. But I did talk to Will about like if he wanted to say anything when he received this award, and he wanted to give a shout out to all of his teammates, Gatman, Dragon, and Dog. He said they brought him to where he is now, and that's pretty much it. We did have some other players that were up there. I believe second in votes was Gatman, his teammate. Third in votes was Andy from LGBB, and fourth in votes was Annex Poseidon from H2O. Moving on now to our interviews. Let me get our interviewees. We're gonna have a few people being interviewed. Let me tell them to come in here. Just hold on 1 second.
No
Hi, Ty.
worries. We can take a look again at that major playoff bracket and just kind of look around and see what everybody's thinking. You know, we have some good matchups coming in, and I'm fairly excited. It should be a good time. You know, we got. I don't know how this playoff thing is going to work. I think this is going to be a lot of upsets, and nobody can really see what's coming out here. So I'm excited to watch this. I'm excited to just pretty much do everything about it. But it sounds like we have somebody who just joined us based on the Discord notification.
Zinga. Hey, what's up, dude? Zinga.
How's it going?
How's it going? So here we have Zinga from Origin. We just wanted to bring you here. First question. So you play for Origin. Obviously, you guys are being heavily doubted. 80% vitality predictions in that series for tomorrow. So dealing with the criticism, does it really I mean, you guys have been doubted pretty much the whole season. Does it really affect you guys? Do you guys even take it into consideration?
Based off how it's been going this entire season, pretty much every time we're streamed, no one really knows who we are. So
Mm.
we just kind of go in there, play, and let the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. So another question on the game planning for Vitality. Obviously, they have skills. They have G's, a heavily offensive attack. What is your guys' game plan going to be in that series tomorrow?
Game plan is just going to be kind of just trust each other, just do the things we've been doing all year. We beat this team once, and I think we can do it again.
Definitely. Hazmat, do you have a question?
Not really. You know, I just want to say good luck, man. I think you guys have had a great season, and I know you kind of make some big plays all the time, and I do feel bad because you're relatively unknown on stream, but I think that's from lack of streaming. You know, I think I've only seen you guys play once or twice, and I'm the one who's there for basically every stream. So I think you're just kind of the unknown underdogs here. And as much I did predict it for Vitality, but I would love to see you guys take the win. You know, and I don't know. I don't want to wish you too much luck because if you do get the win, I play you. You know what I mean? So, but good luck. We'll see.
We're going to do our best.
Thanks for stopping by.
Anytime.
So now we are going to have G's join here. Let me just tell him to come. While we're waiting for him.
Yeah, no worries. We're just gonna take a time and just wait to see something. I'm gonna take a look in chat and see if anybody has any comments or anything, or wants any questions asked. If you guys do want something like that and want to know anything, just put it in the chat and we'll try to ask them too as well.
Oh, I think Jay's just joined.
Yep.
How's it going?
It's going good. Well,
So
English.
the very first question I want to ask you is, how do you pronounce your name?
Oh, I'm keeping that a secret.
Oh my gosh! So let's
Yes.
find out the man himself. All right, seriously now. This is he plays for Vitality. And we actually just had a member of Origin. So I'll
Yep.
ask kind of the same question. As I did Zynga. So game planning against Origin. Obviously, they're kind of a relatively unknown team in terms of never on anyone's radar. So how is it going into a team like that? What do you try to plan to do against a relatively unknown team?
I mean, our biggest problem is we've been having some rotational issues, so I think just kind of squaring up our own game, we'll be all right. Just cutting down the mistakes, the double commits, that'll be huge. I mean, I joined this team halfway through the season, so I wasn't on the team that played Origin before, so it'll be different. And then I think we're just trying to get used to playing with each other.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on, how I know you guys are the favorite, but how do you keep it if you know what I mean, one series at a time? Like you got LGBB looming, the defending champs. They're obviously a heavy favorite to make a run all the way to the championship. But how do you keep it focused on one game at a time and not worrying about future matchups against teams like LGBB?
It's kind of like when we played, I think it was Leftovers like a week or two ago. We were definitely not considered the favorites in that, and they beat us like 6-1 the first game. It's just, getting our stuff figured out, just keeping it calm, not getting tilted, and then, yeah, one game at a time. Don't just play our game and we'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You always try to keep it focused one game at a time. Haz, do you have anything to add?
Mostly just I hope you like the new name that we've given you.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
All
I'm
right.
definitely getting trolled by my friends, so it's all good.
Perfect. I'm glad.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, dude. Good
Yeah,
luck.
no problem. Thanks.
All right. So that pretty much wraps up our major league interviews. So now we are going to move on to Skye. Are you here, Skye? Skye? All right. Well, Skye is supposed to do the minors, but he's not here. Let me message him.
He's here. His mic's just muted. In typical Skye fashion, I feel like we probably told him 30 seconds before. I don't even
No, I
know.
talked to him this morning.
Oh, we did. Look at this. We actually gave him preparation. This is a first for the roundup.
All right.
We actually have minor stat images. We have Skye ready. We're getting better, guys. We're doing it.
All right. Well, I can, I guess, cover for a little bit. So first off, for the minors, we're gonna kind of do it in the same fashion as the majors. We're gonna go to the Oh, actually, I'll just do a little recap, even though I don't really know because I wasn't prepared. So last week it looks like we had, I know we had some big matchups. OWA versus CO2. CO2, a top team in their division, took out OWA 2-0. I believe Obsidian got knocked off somewhere along the way. Solar beat them. And then also we had Newton's Law beating Eclipse to clinch a spot in the playoffs. And then moving on to our standings for the Challenger Division, we had CO2 far and away clinch Challenger Division, affiliate of H2O. They're 14-4. Newton's Law 10-8, and Genesis 10-8. Those are the two teams, or three teams in the Challenger Division that clinched a spot. And then on to the Star Division. We had Obsidian. They were undefeated for a long time there. Had a few setbacks towards the end of the season, but with all indications they should regroup and be ready for the playoffs. 14-4, the clinch division. Solar 10-8, second seed, and Quantum Theory 8-10, just beating out No Boost. Tragic end of the season for No Boost. I believe they lost on their last game to be eliminated. So has anything to add? No, we're not really prepared for the minors.
We were not, but I do want to question. I think what was the bet that Sun-Dried Swine had? Was it 10-0 and then take the championship?
He said if they win, I think it was 18-0.
You unpinned it, man. I just went to look for it so I could talk about it, but you unpinned everything.
Because they lost. I think he said if they went 18-0 and they won the championship, he donated every single thing in his inventory to the league. But
Darn, I thought it was lower than that. I thought it was like 9 or 10-0, like what they actually did and then won the championship. So we're gonna have to trust Swine to tell us the actual answer, but he may be in trouble here. That's all I wanted to point out.
Yeah, definitely. But we obviously Newton's Law. That's a team with really good chemistry, and I have to say, coming into the season, they didn't really have any standout star players, but they have good chemistry, good rotations. Using that, they were able to fight their way to the 2 seed in the Challenger Division. I just want to say good on them. And then we're gonna move on to the playoff bracket for the minor league. Just let me pull that up here 1 second. I didn't have any of these graphics ready because this guy was gonna be here, but you know what happens. You can always improv.
No worries. Well, first of all, in the Challenger Division, we have Genesis at Newton's Law in Game 1. Winner of that is going to go on to play CO2, and then down in the Star Division, we have Solar versus Quantum Theory, and winner of that is going to go take on the Obsidian team in the semifinals. So we have some good matchups coming up. You know, same as the major leagues. It's going to be some tight games, and I'm equally excited to watch those.
Yeah, I think Genesis versus Newton's Law will be a really good series. Genesis is a really good team. I think they might have beat Obsidian once, but they're always giving the top teams a run for their money. Newton's Law, like I said, good solid team. And then, like you said, in the Star Division, Solar and Quantum Theory. Solar is probably the heavy favorite in that matchup. I believe Quantum Theory had a losing record. No winner of that will try to knock off the Juggernaut in Obsidian. And then moving on, we have for the minor league. Interviews.
Well, we actually skipped the minor league stats. I just wanted to point out real quick. So if we want to
Yep.
take a look at those, we have with the non-graphic we have again. Sorry about that, guys. We have Melm over at winning or coming out on top for goals per game. Then Advertisement coming out with the top of assists per games, and Dizzy Dreams with the #1 shot or saves per game. I'm sorry. And then let me pull up here and see if we have a minor stat update, same as we had the minors or the majors. We don't in the news channel, so I can't help with that. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. But you know
One
we
more
have.
point out is Melm. Let me find his name right here. He had an unruly amount of shots here. 93 shots for the minor league. Second in the whole league, we had 83, and then below that, we have 58. So that's just an unruly amount of shots. He did lead the league in goals per game, but just a really offensive player, Mel. But yeah, I want to congratulate both AG Melm and Dizzy Dreams on being in the top of their respective stat categories. And then
Wrong
we're going to
person. You meant Advertisement, but that works.
Advertisement. I don't have any of these graphics. I'm literally not prepared because I thought Skye was going to be here and Skye went AWOL. But now we're going to bring in Rick from Newton's Hall for an interview.
And while we do that, I wanted to talk about Lewis, better known as High Tide, brought up a good point and asked the question, how do you think these teams are going to compete in the longer series in the playoffs? Rather than the best of 3 matches, we have the quarterfinals at best of 5, and then the semi and the grand finals at best of 7 series. So I think that's going to create a lot of different things, you know what I mean? So normally when you're in it, if you're in the game, it comes down to basically, it could come down to just which team showed up that day and is warmed up a little bit more and all that. Whereas when you're playing a best of 7, you have that time to come back. You have so much more space to breathe. Once you're down 1 game in a best of 3, it's pretty much just full-on panic. We have to win these next games. But you can lose. Obviously, you can lose 3 in a best of 7 and be completely fine. So it's really interesting and exciting to watch these longer series. And I don't know how it's going to affect teams, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything you said there. But Rick actually just joined. How's it going, Rick?
What's up, guys?
So, you guys are going to play Genesis in your playoff matchup on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
First off, I wanted to ask, so I've noticed I'm in the Gravity server. I've noticed that you guys, Newton's, have a really good team chemistry. Like, you're all not even, like, on the field. I mean, like, off it. You guys are all friends, playing mini games and stuff. And how big of a part do you think that plays out on the field, like, when you're actually playing in games together?
Well, I wouldn't just say Newton's Law. I would say gravity in a community, but
Yeah.
it definitely, bonds you more emotional, as weird as that sounds. Like, you can trash talk each other and you get used to how you talk to each other, so no one gets offended. It's just all fun, and you can just have fun while playing Rocket League, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, like you guys, like you said, the whole Gravity organization, you all have a good relationship overall, always doing stuff together. And I think that plays a big part because you look at teams, I don't know if I want to name them by name, but they're at the bottom of the minor league with not many wins. And it's not even that they just have bad players, it's that they're just not like active and communicating with each other.
Oh, yeah. A big part of this league is just, being open to meeting everyone. Like, don't tie yourself off and only play the league for the games. Like, if you want to have fun, play with everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's kind of our foundation there. And then playoff matchup on Thursday or Friday or whenever you guys are playing against Genesis. They have a very high offensive attack with players such as Yeti and Brightest. What's your game plan for a team with high offense?
Well, our first game plan is probably going to be finding a sub and then getting some games in with them, me and Casey. And then just try to play defense. I mean, they do have high shots, but their goals aren't there. So if we could play the defense and keep the goals off the target, that's all that's going to matter, and just put the ones in that matter.
Yeah, definitely. A big part of minor league games I have noticed is that rotation, those fundamentals, because a lot of players in the minor league will get too aggressive. I notice sometimes they'll come out and break the rotation. But if you have solid defense, solid rotations, smart choices, you will succeed in the minor league. Congratulations on making the playoffs. Good luck on your playoff game against Genesis on Thursday.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by.
I also want to give a big shout out to Rick, who basically is redoing a bunch of logos for everybody to make it a little bit easier on us streamers and make everything look better. And then he did like almost all of the graphics, I think, or
Yeah,
literally all of
the
them.
graphics.
So just big shout out to him. He is much
Yeah.
appreciated, and we're glad to have him.
Yeah, shout out to Rick. So for almost like a schedule, I just want to give real quick the next week. This Tuesday and Wednesday we have the quarterfinal matchups and the semifinal matchups in the Major League. Tune in to watch those. We'll have the championship on either Thursday or Friday. And then the minor leagues playoffs start on Thursday. Probably wrap up around Sunday. And then before our championship game in the Major League, probably gonna have a little pregame show where we bring some players on before the game, make some predictions. And that will all be here on our Twitch channel. I advise you guys check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. And on that note, that's probably all we have for you tonight. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you later.
Have a good night, guys.
Infinite power.